Hi there, I'm Maddie. I recently graduated from UC Berkeley, and for the summer, I'm traveling around the US to different major cities to explore and spend time with friends and myself. This is the first of many more videos to come, so make sure you subscribe to join the adventure and enjoy!
You do the music. Don't wait, what? Oh, I'm driving at Gilroy.
I get that garlic city.
Gilroy's like...
This was our roommate graduation trip. My housemates and I, the 5 of us, have lived together for the past 3 years, ever since we moved out of the freshman dorms. And believe it or not, this would be our first time traveling together beyond the Bay Area. Our plan was to drive all the way down to the most south destination from Berkeley and then slowly make our way back up. We started the trip by picking up some food at In-N-Out, a classic California road trip stop. Being born and raised in California, In-N-Out used to be part of my typical weekly or monthly diet growing up, so it's always a super nostalgic experience getting some burgers and fries.
We're at this bridge. I don't even know if they can hear me at this point.
We're at this bridge!
What's it called?
Bixby?
Yeah.
Beep.
Our first location was Big Sur, and we had to pass by Bixby Bridge and watch some squirrels on the way before heading off to our next spot.
Oh, yes.
Ding.
I don't have anything.
I don't need sand.
Run away. Partington Cove. It's very windy.
While coming to Partington Cove, we almost missed the trailhead because the sign wasn't particularly obvious, but we made our way through the trail, which wasn't particularly difficult, and even though it was only one path, because there weren't that many people around, it really felt like we were exploring a new area. The water was incredible, and even though it was a slightly risky undertaking climbing the rocks when you get to the end of the trail, when you get to peer over the edge, you can see the waves splashing up from the rocks, and it's just such a beautiful but also scary scene all at the same time.
Where did it go? Hello. We're sitting on top of this rock, and it's very windy, and the waves come up pretty high, so it's a little scary. Also, Lily got kind of wet. The waves almost took. She's okay though.
Scared.
Where'd it go? All these people are camping, and I think the trail is closed. We might not be able to go on it. Close? It looks pretty closed. Oh my god! Look at that rock, it's so red.
Although Limekiln Falls was actually closed and we didn't get to hike the trail we originally planned, we just walked along the beach instead. We took off our shoes to feel the sand in the water, and for some reason, I just really, really love the beach. Maybe it's the sun or the water, or maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe it's the idea of going to the beach because it means you're on vacation. I think as you get older, you get wary of doing things that you used to always do as a kid. You like to play in the sand, splash in the water, and just be unafraid to get a little dirty for a lot of fun. And that's exactly what we did. Our last stop of the day was to have dinner at one of the very few restaurants in Big Sur. Since we did have an hour-long wait, we did miss the sunset that we had originally planned to see. But we had a really nice dinner, and sometimes things just don't go the way it's planned, so that's what the next adventure and the next time is for.
I'm done.
Oh, nice. On our way to the aquarium.
On the second day, it was our only full day that we had to completely explore, and our very first stop was the Monterey Aquarium. To be honest, I'm not sure I've ever been to one before, but if I have, it's definitely been a hot second. I was extremely impressed by this aquarium, and that's probably why Monterey is one of the leading aquarium examples out there, because everything is just so nicely laid out.
Whoa! It looks like you're reaching into like the water. Yeah, it's pretty far. That's cool.
The tanks were beautiful with a perfect amount of plants and sea animals. The explanations showcasing what's inside the tanks were super informative. I loved how spacious the aquarium felt and the extent of its sea life diversity. You know, there were the typical fish, sharks, and kelp, but there were also sea otters and stingrays. We were even allowed to touch and pet the stingrays very safely, I might add. We definitely spent a solid 5 or 6 hours here before feeling like we'd seen everything that we'd wanted to do. Some things we'd even seen them twice, like the otters, because we just love them so much. And that was everything that we did before we felt like we were ready to head out.
Let me tell you what she said, my own, only best time to relax, my own, 'cause you know I love the crash, my own. There ain't nothing I won't do. There ain't nothing I won't do. I'll get right back to you. Oh, my pretty Haley. All those guys will watch them fall. Right down from the mountain, we will defy them one and all.
Alright, we finished going to the aquarium and we're headed to Cannery Row.
Cannery Row is just right around the corner from Monterey. It's a street filled with little souvenir shops and stores to grab a quick bite or a snack. We stopped by a couple of them, but eventually settled on a fish and chips place and some caramel apples just a couple blocks away for a more filling snack.
So many cute stores here. Ooh, and it's pretty windy, and we'll check them all out. How's it? Alright, we're at Fisherman's Wharf, the Monterey version. What are we getting?
We're getting clam chowder.
Zoe's favorite clam chowder place.
Yeah.
We're at Carmel. Carmel? Is it Carmel or Carmel? Carmel.
It's
For dinner.
Carmel-by-the-Sea. It's Carmel.
But it's getting dark, so we're just getting dinner.
Even though we didn't get to spend a lot of time in Carmel, it was our last stop of the day, and we did have dinner at a cute little restaurant that came with complimentary caviar and champagne. Totally spontaneous, but super fun. I really wanted to go down to the beach, even though we didn't get time to spend in Carmel during the day.
Woo!
So we drove over just
Woo!
a couple blocks, and some of us ran around in the
There's a
dark on the
hole!
beach. It was definitely an exciting detour.
It's pretty warm, feeling it.
I don't know, I feel like it's pretty cold.
Now the sand is cold, but I feel like the water's warm.
Our final day was dedicated to Santa Cruz. We were actually on a pretty tight schedule because some of the roommates had to go home early to pack, so it was definitely a busy day. Our first stop was the Natural Bridges State Beach. We wanted to come here because we wanted to do something different that was a lot less touristy than the usual stops in Santa Cruz. We went down to the tide pools and the beach to look at the sea life, the anemone, and the different oysters and mussels that were there, watch the waves crash down on the rocks, and then we hiked the monarch trails that would have been perfect for watching butterflies, but May wasn't quite the right season for that, so we just had a good time walking around and enjoying nature.
All those are mussels. Walking along the Monarch Butterfly Trail and just taking a short walk. Model it. How was that? Good? Wow.
For lunch, we stopped by downtown and grabbed some takeout before bringing it to the boardwalk. And wow, we totally underestimated how windy it can get by the ocean. I'm not really sure why picnics on the beach can look so luxurious and relaxing because ours was filled with sand in our eyes and sand in our food.
The aftermath. So my mask flew off. Amy's mask also flew off. But I reign victorious. We're over there.
Our last few stops in Santa Cruz were hitting a couple of recommended shops and restaurants. We went to a fancy dark chocolate store called Monterey, then Penny's Ice Cream, and then 11th Hour for coffee.
There's so many reasons you should care. Don't stay looking out the window. And how late do you plan on going nowhere? Afraid of all the things you don't know. There's so many reasons you should.
How was it, Amy?
Yummy.
The sun is setting down soon. You'll never see the stars when you're all in your head. You can find beauty in the night too, but it's harder to see when you're stuck in a dream. So but you keep on going. I know that you'll be open, hoping that you'll be okay. Don't stay looking out the window and how late.
Overall, when I think about this trip, I realized how important it is to be able to be flexible with your plans, especially when you're traveling in a group. If you don't have things that are booked, sometimes it's just fun to take a detour or an extra long break if that's what you're feeling. First road trip done and in the books, and now I'm on to the next adventure.
There's so many reasons you should care.